Hello there, you in Connections Land. How is everybody doing today? We're going to hear about some people who thought they were not doing very well, even though God had done such great things for them, brought them out of Egypt, did the mighty miracles, and split the waters of the Red Sea, defeated the enemy and all the rest. They're still complaining we would have had it better if we were back in Egypt, sitting around all the pots of meat and having just a high old time, which of course was not the way it was at all. But that's the fondness of memory sometimes. But they're hungry. Why doesn't God give us food? We're going to die in the desert. What are your thoughts, Pastor Alex?
Yeah, as you said, there's sort of a very bitter irony here, because just in chapter 15 of Exodus, Moses, the whole chapter is dominated by Moses's song of who is like Yahweh. And then at the very end of that song, we have this amazing phrase, Yahweh will reign as king forever and ever. And that's kind of, that's such a, when we talk about the kingdom of heaven, and in the gospel for today in church, Jesus says, the kingdom is near, the kingdom of God has come near. And so in the Exodus story, we see what that kingship looks like. God intervenes and fights for his people, and he's in the world. And like you said, Pastor Krause, almost immediately after that, what do they start doing? They start grumbling, and they start forgetting immediately that God is on their side and that God is reigning in their midst. And they start complaining.
So you're going to know tonight, the glory of God says Moses, Moses, and tomorrow you'll have bread to eat. And so that evening they got quail, and then what is it? Was what was on the floor of the desert the next day. Manna means what is it? And
a little joke.
What do you mean?
A little joke in Hebrew, them saying, what is it? And that's,
Oh, yeah. So it's interesting. They see all the things that God has done. They see what great ways he's taken care of them. And then they act right away. God's reigns forever. That didn't last very long at all. The next chapter, we're already saying God can't take care of us and so forth. The thing I think we want to think about to bring it to present day is, do we recognize all the ways that God cares for us now? And it really is very easy to think that we take care of ourselves, or our parents take care of us, or however you look at that, we buy our food at the grocery store, we earn a living and all the rest so that we can have food. But God, of course, is the one who is always the one providing, which is good to remember in times of plenty and in times of want. Because in times of plenty, we can have kind of a haughty attitude, be thinking of ourselves as pretty hot stuff that we can take care of ourselves. In time of want, it's a great comfort to know that, no, God's going to take care of me. And even if there's not a lot, there'll be enough, and God will certainly provide what I need. And so no matter what's going on, it's always good to remember how God is the one who provides for us.
Yeah, this idea of grumbling, dominates in this passage. And it's, God says to Moses, they're not grumbling against you, they're grumbling against me. And so there are many times in our Christian lives where we're tempted to, be restless and to grumble, because we don't really appreciate, as you're saying, Pastor Krause, we don't appreciate what God is giving. But grumbling is really rebellion against God. It's saying, I don't like your lordship. I don't like the way that you are acting as God. We might not think of it intellectually like that, but on a spiritual level, when we grumble against God, when we huff and puff and say, why is he doing it that way? That can really be spiritual rebellion.
So, Pastor Alex, I ask you a question.
Yeah.
And this is especially for our friends in Connections. Would you say that when children grumble against what their parents ask them to do by their authority, that they're really grumbling against God?
That's a very good question. As we hear in the fourth commandment, to honor your mother and father, that this is the way that God has designed human relationships and authority. And so that grumbling, yeah, I think in a deeper sense, they are grumbling against the way that God has set up family structures and authority. And so that really could be grumbling against God.
Pretty significant.
Mhm.
Well, we know that you don't want to be grumbling in connections today, and don't want to be grumbling against us and how we go too long. So have a great time, and don't forget where your quail and your manna come from. God bless you.